Hey there, this is Fritz Westover with Virtual Viticulture Academy and your host on the Vineyard Underground podcast. And I'm answering a question from a grower, maybe a grower like you. This grower's in Texas. His name is Jeff, and he had a question about some replant vines in his vineyard. So let's go ahead and take a look at what the question is from Jeff. Okay, so Jeff says, I have a number of Tempranillo replacement plants, there's 44, that we are trying to reestablish. They're located sporadically throughout the vineyard. Therefore, most of them have mature vines located on either side of them. Almost all of them are growing well and have grown beyond the upper catch wire and are at or nearly at trunking size. So this is not wimpy wood. These are shoots that are actually big enough to be retained as trunks. I'm concerned that if I trunk now, that the canopy from the neighboring plants will block sunlight and inhibit growth. What should be the strategy for trunking and cordon development? Okay, so it looks like in this photo, Jeff, you have some really healthy looking replant. And it's my understanding that they're not in their first year, they're in their third year from the additional information you provided in your message to me. So we know that we definitely want to try to get a trunk by year 3. Ideally, we want to get a trunk in year 2. But these vines, because they're kind of sandwiched between some mature vines, are, they're competing with these mature vines. So getting a trunk in year 3 is okay. But I think what you're talking about here is it okay to come in and top them right here at the fruiting wire and try to push maybe some lateral growth or something like that to try and get a head start on cordon development. But because these vines are, I'm going to say, struggling a little bit to keep up with the more mature vines right next door to them, I wouldn't want to cut these vines. I would want to let them grow just like you have in the vineyard now. And the reason is you don't have a whole lot of foliage underneath that wire. So if you remove the top portion of the vine and create a trunk now during the green growing season, you're going to take off more than 50% of that foliage and 50% of the canopy, which means the root growth is going to stop growing because you don't have shoot growth to support and encourage more root growth. So what I think your goal should be in this specific case is to let those shoots keep growing, grow them all the way up through the top of your catch wires for your vertical shoot position trellis. And once you get to the top wire, instead of topping them, just bend them over and let them grow down laterally along that top wire. So your shoot might get 7 or 8 feet long, and that's okay, because that will keep pushing from those mature leaves, carbohydrates and resources down to the root and down to the base of your trunk that you're trying to grow nice and thick. Now, in the wintertime, that's when you're going to select the trunk, and it looks like you've selected one shoot this year, so that will be your trunk. And the question is, do you cut it at the wire and leave only a trunk with maybe 3 or 4 buds below that fruiting wire to push your cordons from? And that would be in the following season. Or do you lay over part of that trunk or cane and try to establish one side of the cordon? If you have extremely high vigor and you feel like you need extra bud counts or more buds on that vine next year, you could do that layover practice. But typically, my preference is to top right at the wire during dormant pruning, not now, but when these vines are dormant, let's say in January, February, in your area of the world in Texas, and then let the top pour bud from the top of this vine here on the right, let the top pour buds next year from that trunk push out, and then you can choose your best two to retain for your cordons. Or for a grower that wanted to cane prune, they could use those parts to create their renewal spurs and their fruiting cane. So either way, I think this is a really great question. I think it's going to help other growers to kind of hear us walk through the process of how to handle these replants. Also, when you're dealing with replants, make sure they get extra water. I see you've got some irrigation emitters going right to these vines so they can get plenty of water. If you need to fertilize them to help them catch up a little, that's a normal practice too. And of course, keep weed competition down and keep the neighboring big vine from growing over top. And you've done a really good job at clearing out the top here from the neighboring vines competition so they're not competing with growth there. So again, Jeff, I hope this answers your question, and hope that you have some more questions in the future. If you do, send them in to, you can just go to vineyardundergroundpodcast.com and click on the Ask Fritz button. And if you have questions, send them there and I'll answer them. You can get information and additional videos also on how to grow grapes, all aspects from the ground up, at virtualviticultureacademy.com. And thanks for tuning in at the Vineyard Underground podcast, wherever you listen to your podcast. Take care, everyone.